Hi, first graders. This is Mrs. Katzenberger. It is so good to see you. I am sending you big air hugs wherever you may be. And as always, I am really excited to bring you your first math lesson for the week of May 11th. We're going to be starting something completely new and different together this week. We are going to be learning about equal parts and fractions. Now, we've talked about the word equal quite a bit this year in first grade, and I'm sure that you remember that that word means that you have two amounts or values that are exactly the same. For instance, if there's 5 dots here and 5 dots here, that's the same amount. It's equal. 14, that has the same value as if I added 7 and 7, which is also 14. Those two things are equal. And these two cups down here, they have the exact same amount of liquid. Those are two equal amounts. Now, when we say equal shares, that means we have parts or pieces that are the same size, the same amount, or value. So there are some pictures of shapes at the bottom of the screen. They've been cut into pieces, and each piece is the same size. Think about it as if you were sharing a piece of cake with your brother or your sister. I know when my sister and I were little girls and we would share something, it was very important to us that we either had the same amount or that our pieces were exactly the same size. So here I have some shapes. They've all been cut into two pieces, and we just need to decide if those pieces are the same size. If they are, those are equal shares. But if they're not the same size, well, then they're not equal. So let's start with our trapezoid here. What do you think? The two pieces on either side of that white line, do those look like they are the same size to you? They look like they're the same size to me. So I'm going to slide this picture up here because that is showing me equal shares. What about this triangle here? It's cut into two pieces, but they're definitely not the same size. They're not even the same shape. This piece is a triangle. This piece is a trapezoid. So there is no way that that picture is showing me equal shares. What about the hexagon? Do these two pieces look to be the same size to you? They definitely are. Let's put this picture over here. What about the rectangle? Have I shown two pieces that are exactly the same size? Yeah, definitely I have. So let's put this picture over here with the equal shares. Now, what about this hexagon? It's close, but if I look at the two pieces, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sides on one of my pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides on the other. This side is definitely a little bit bigger, so that is not showing me equal shares. Let's slide it right up here. This circle has been cut diagonally. What do you think about those two pieces? Equal shares? You know it. Let's put it over here with our equal shares. What about this trapezoid? This is like the mean trick that an older brother would play on you, where he'd cut it into two pieces and say, oh, this is your piece, and this is my piece. You'd say, nice try, older brother. Those are not equal shares. We're going to put it over here. What about this rectangle? Same size? Definitely not. We're going to slide this over with our not equal shares. What about the parallelogram? Does this piece look exactly the same as the piece under it? It does. That's an equal share. And last but not least, I know you can tell just by looking at this circle, I've got a very big piece over here and a teeny tiny little sliver over there. These are not equal shares. Good job. So on the page that we just did, we looked at shapes that had been cut into two pieces. And I want to talk to you about a word that you're going to be hearing a lot for the rest of this video and in Mrs. Ingalls' video as well. And that word is partition. When you partition something, that means you divide or cut it into equal pieces. So I brought back this picture of the trapezoid here. This trapezoid has been partitioned into two equal pieces. So let's practice some partitioning together. So here I have a circle, and I'm going to use this line here to partition my circle into two equal parts. So if I slide it up there, that looks pretty good. It looks like my two pieces are exactly the same size. Now I'm going to try to partition shapes in a different way, because I can cut them straight across, but sometimes there's lots of different ways to partition a shape. So here I have a square, and I'm going to use a diagonal line this time to cut my square into two equal pieces. And there, I've got a triangle on this side and a triangle on that side, and those two triangles are exactly the same size. Let's do one more. I have a rectangle, and I want to cut it into two equal parts. I'm going to partition it. So I'm going to slide this over here, and that looks pretty good. I have partitioned my rectangle into two equal parts. All right, so here's another picture of my rectangle. I've partitioned it into two equal parts. I want to introduce you to the name that we're going to give our two equal parts. These are called halves. Two equal parts, and each equal part is a half. Over here, I have half of my rectangle. On this side, I have my other half of the rectangle. And I'm sure you've heard the word half quite a few times. When we say things like halves or half, those are examples of fractions. Fractions is just a way of saying that I have equal parts of a whole. And when we say whole, we don't mean, oh no, there's a hole in my sock and my toe is sticking out, right? When we say whole, we mean something that has not been cut or divided. It's an entire thing, like an entire rectangle or circle or pizza. So here I have a circle that's been partitioned into halves, and I've colored in one half of the circle. It's purple. Down here, you're going to see a little straight line here, and a 2. This is how we write the fraction 1/2 with numbers. That means 1 out of 2 equal parts has been colored purple, 1/2. The same thing with my rectangle. I've partitioned it into 2 equal parts. They're the same size. 1/2 of it is shaded yellow. That means 1 out of 2 equal parts is shaded. When you get a lot older, you're going to learn some fancy math words that talk about fractions. Like the number on top is your numerator. The number on the bottom is your denominator. And what that really means is just that the number of equal pieces you have all together, that's what you put on the bottom. And the part that maybe you have cut or colored. In this case, it's 1 out of those 2 goes on the top. So here are some shapes that I have partitioned into 2 equal parts. When I have 2 equal parts, those are called halves. Well done. And I'm going to be shading in 1/2 of each of these shapes. Voila! There is 1/2 of my rectangle that I have colored in, 1/2 of my circle, 1/2 of my square, and 1/2 of my triangle. I know, you must be thinking I'm pretty magic right now, right? She colored in those shapes so fast. Well, who remembers how to write with a number the fraction that shows how much of each shape I have colored in? If I wanted to write with numbers showing that I've colored in 1/2 of each shape, what would that look like? So remember, the number that goes on the top, that's the piece that we have colored. We've colored 1 out of 2. I have 2 equal parts all together, and 1 out of 2 has been colored, or 1/2. That's our fraction. So the last thing that we're going to do is a little bit of a story problem. And my story problem says, Megan's pizza is cut into 2 equal pieces. So hopefully your little mind is already working. You're remembering that word that we used when we have 2 equal pieces. Megan's pizza has been cut into halves. She will share it with her sister. How much of the pizza will each girl get? This is a very common first grade answer to a question like this. I've been teaching first grade for a long time, and I always have quite a few kids that want to tell me each girl will get 1 piece, which is not untrue, but we really want to know how much of the pizza each girl will get. What fraction of the pizza will Megan get to eat? What fraction of the pizza will her sister get to eat? So if each girl is going to get to eat 1 out of those 2 equal pieces, each girl will get 1/2 of the pizza. And if my teacher asked me to show the fraction with numbers for 1/2, the numerator and the denominator, I would want to make sure I wrote down this fraction right here, 1 out of 2 equal pieces. Excellent job with your equal shares and fractions today, first graders. So once you're done with this video, make sure you log into Seesaw. There's an activity waiting for you. You can always go back to this video and watch it again if you need to. But I know your teachers cannot wait to see your excellent work partitioning shapes, writing fractions, because they miss you so much. I miss you. I hope you have an awesome day and happy learning. Bye.